Marcellus, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Is Aaron Rodgers putting unnecessary pressure on his new head coach?
No, he's not. Aaron Rodgers has realized offensively the check engine light is on. So I'm not going to wait for this car to break down before everybody starts to panic. Aaron Rodgers, being the genius he is at this position, realizes that two metrics in particular is telling him this is not sustainable and this offense is going to let our team down. One is the Packers are third worst in the NFL in third down percentage. Woo-wee. That's good. That ain't good, brother. You know why? That's the money down. And if you're not good on the money down, sooner or later you're going to run out of some money. And the other metric is second most 3 and outs in the league. Ooh, that ain't good. In company with the Jets and the Cardinals. So think about this. They have the second best scoring defense. And they're realizing, at least Aaron Rodgers has, we're going to wear these dudes out. This is not sustainable. We're going to kill them because we're not sustaining drives. We're getting off the field too often. And what's going to end up happening? This seesaw effect of where that defense is going to start to feel this pressure and they're going to cave. What are we going to do then? So beyond all the personality, motivations that Aaron Rodgers has, he's actually looking at the analytics. He's actually looking at his roster and offensively is saying, we better fix this or else.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I'll give you another word, honest, honest, because that's what he is. We're going to have to be a heck of a lot better as an offense than we are right now. I look at the Packers as kind of the dynasty that never was. Right? You had Favre for 15 years. You won one world championship with him. You've had Aaron Rodgers for 14 years now, and you've won one world championship with him. You've had two of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game, and you as a franchise have 2 world championships
Let me ask you this,
over a 30-year period.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
You think Matt LaFleur isn't aware of the stats Marcellus rattled off? You think Matt LaFleur is lying to himself?
No, I went deep with those. Nobody knows. I mean, I'm just telling you.
No. I know that Matt, I know that he knows that. But listen, man, just because you got the Oda McVay on you, right? Just because you rubbed up against McVay and got some of his cologne on you doesn't make you ready to coach. Woo! So there's a lot of those guys in this league right now that got jobs because they rubbed up against McVay. So you know what? You rubbed up against him. Now it's time for you to get that offense going. And if you and your quarterback don't see eye to eye, you know what you better do? You better figure out how to make you and your quarterback see eye to eye. How about that?
How about that?
I just think Matt LaFleur is aware that they're struggling, and there's no reason for the most talented quarterback in the league other than Pat Mahomes to breathe life into that.
When you're new and you're rebuilding or you're building for the first time what it is that you're going to do as a team, the offense lags. The offense historically is always behind.
Yeah.
Is there too much pressure on him? No, there's not too much pressure on him. Everybody stated the obvious. I mean, add Lombardi into that. You come in as a head coach in Green Bay, before you take one snap, I don't care who your quarterback is, who your franchise player is. Lombardi was the coach there. You're in Titletown, the Cheeseheads, Green Bay Packers. It's not too much pressure on them. But the reality of it is that you played some quality teams. This was not a pushover, a breeze through 3 games. The Bears, they have one of the most premier pass rushers and defenses. The Vikings have premier players and premier pass rushers on their team. The Broncos have premier pass rushers on their team. You're talking about 3 very, very, now even though the Broncos are failing to launch this year, they are still a talented, gifted defense. So to say that, we got to do better, I think he's just taking ownership over what they need to do moving forward. And LaFleur would be best served. Why not? Why not?
I mean, he's not taking ownership because, again, when you say we have a standard here, Matt LaFleur was no part of that. So basically he's telling Matt LaFleur and breathing life into life, we're not meeting the standards and the things that Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy have done here previously. So I don't hear ownership. I hear like there's a new element and it's not meeting our standards.
But even yet and still, maybe not ownership over the way LaFleur may be guiding the offense or the way he wants the offense to be, but taking ownership over whether you're right or wrong with your point, he's still taking ownership over we have to find what it is that's going to work for us in this scenario. And I think that that's the ownership part of it. And LaFleur would be best served to figure out what that is. Find that formula.
Yeah, but that is still going to be digested as pressure. And he is putting pressure on his head coach, in part because he's feeling pressure. Let's just be real about that. The psychological approach, if you're Aaron Rodgers the Great, right now, you're feeling the pressure of, wait, I'm in a new system. And in a new system, I'm lagging behind some of the other greats who are out there still getting it. And if you look at this situation, he's applying the Kobe mentality. And Kobe's mentality always was, I want to win, but I also want to be the reason why. And if you think about it, Aaron Rodgers is like, look, I can't be going out there throwing 230 yards and we scraping by in victories with this defense-led team, even though it can accumulate to team success. Last time Green Bay had a top 10 defense, you know what happened? They won the Super Bowl 2010. So in all, it can work. But right now, Aaron Rodgers is feeling like there are young guys who are coming up, getting attention, cachet, Q rating. There are guys who've already been here, and they are still winning. And now I'm in this struggle system that is giving us the wins and losses, but not giving me my shine.
Personnel, too, though. It's new personnel. A lot of the success that Aaron Rodgers was having, you have a receiver that was a quarterback, a very cerebral and a very smart quarterback playing receiver, and Randall Cobb. All right, you got Jordy Nelson, who was a super cerebral guy. Let's not put all of this on Aaron Rodgers as to why he had so much success during that run. You had some very, very intelligent guys out there on your staff.
You didn't have Matt LaFleur.
So let's look at this offense, because I know this offense well. One of the issues that I think Aaron Rodgers probably has with this offense is this offense believes that they have all the answers written into the offense. So we don't need to give our quarterback the opportunity to change plays. You heard Aaron Rodgers talk about this in the offseason. Man, I got 11 years of starting or whatever it is, 12 years of starting, and 12 years of knowledge of what defenses are doing. Why can I not use that knowledge? So there has to be a melding together of these two basic philosophical approaches, because in this offense, it's more about, all right, we have this play, we're going to run it, we'll can it with this play if we get a certain look. That's how it's run. So you've got two plays and say, we either run this or we can it. And a lot of what they want to do is get up the line of scrimmage, regardless of what you give us as a defense, we're running our stuff. And the answers are built in. And in this day and age of football, a lot of these quarterbacks want to be in shotgun and go, let me pick what we want to do. And there's a struggle there that goes on between quarterbacks of this day and age and coaches that want to run this system. And they have to find a happy medium where we can still do what the coach wants, but occasionally we got to come out there in no huddle and let me be in control for a series, right?
I'm going to call an audible here and throw y'all.
Oh, man, Matt LaFleur said not to do that.
I'm going to do it.
Don't do it.
I'm going to tell you the reason why. You made me do it.
Okay.
I was going to save this until tomorrow, but
do it.
you took me down there. Let's analyze the personality of Aaron Rodgers. I think Marcellus hinted at it, but I think there is some jealousy issues here. Patrick Mahomes is setting a new standard at quarterback, and he is now the most talented quarterback in the league. Tom Brady is 42 years old, playing like he's 32. And Aaron Rodgers, I do think there's some ego involved here, and I want to get my numbers like these other guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I didn't hint at it. I said that, damn it. Don't be trying to go over here and regurgitate. No, I love this. His mentality, all right, I know Aaron Rodgers in this sense. He's looking at the landscape. And in the landscape, let's just be real. Tom Brady balling, Russell Wilson balling, Breeze and Big Ben are hurt, but still, you got to respect them. And then all of a sudden, there's this other tier of Dak Prescott out there getting it. Patrick Mahomes, as we know, he's tier one. And then there's these guys like Daniel Jones. What is that? Minshew. What's that? Kyle Allen. Deshaun Watson. What's this? You can't poke a hole in the resume just yet. So you add that up, then you add up what Bucky Brooks has shown to all of us, a line of demarcation, a before Aaron Rodgers and an after Aaron Rodgers. And he knows his expiration date is somewhere on the horizon. Who knows when? He turns 36 this year. And then you start adding all that up, and you out here throwing for 230 yards. You're like, wait a minute. Don't forget how we even got here. Don't even forget why this is an attractive destination.
Don't get rid of me.
Don't get rid of me to go get this.
Yes.
And I think that's where Aaron Rodgers is.
That's pretty deep, man. I mean, when you look at it from that perspective and you say, wow, when you do, because, I mean, look at what happened to Favre. The show must go on in Green Bay. So now it makes more sense.
I want to bear down on this, and then, Mark, I want you to jump in, because LaVar, at one time, coming out of high school and college, you were a guy that was like, man, this dude could be
the
one
best.
of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He can be right there with
Look
Mike
what happened.
Singletary, Dick Butkus, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers just 2 or 3 years ago was in the conversation as the GOAT. Yeah. He's no longer in the conversation as the GOAT. I don't even think it's a negative, but it's a reality. He wants to fix that.
Well, I think the bigger issue here, even more so than being recognized and being in the conversation as the GOAT, is you can't phase me. Do not position me to phase me out of here based upon the lack of production. Because now
nobody
I'm saying,
phasing him out.
well, I mean, think about it. If there is a lack of production and the team is not as successful as it needs to be at that age, it very well could happen.
Right.
That show's still going to go on.
Aaron Rodgers is not in the same place that Peyton Manning was when Gary Kubiak took over the offense in Denver. And Peyton Manning ended up, going to the bench because of his neck and his arm and had some issues health-wise. And at the time when he went to the bench, I think he had 9 touchdowns versus 15 interceptions or something of that nature, like in week 9. And he sat out for like 7 games, and Brock Osweiler came in and won, and then eventually they made that turn back at the end of the season throughout the playoffs. But when you look at that season, Peyton Manning got a second championship ring, but Von Miller was the Super Bowl MVP. Like, there came a time when Kubiak and Manning were butting heads over the way we're calling this offense, and Manning was like, this is not what I run. I don't like this. And eventually, that came to a head. Now, like I've said before, and I think they will work on this, they've got to come to some happy medium, some agreement offensively where Rodgers can still do some of the things he wants to do, but you still get what you need as a coach.
Would you be upset with him if he were concerned or at all motivated about his legacy? Would that bother you?
Yeah, because to me, it's like building your brand as opposed to building your career. Like, we talk about this on the Twitter and the social media feeds, like I say all the time, the guy who dies with the most Twitter followers is dead. He's just dead, right? So my big thing is your legacy will be much greater or much more enhanced with world championships. Like I said, the dynasty that never was, with one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever watched play, who has won world championship with that top-ranked defense, right?
Yeah, I push back on that. One, they are phasing them out. Let's just be clear and definitive about that.
Come on now.
Here's the numbers. 647 yards, which is almost half of Patrick Mahomes, is the second lowest total of his career through 3 games. 57 completions is the lowest total that he's had in 10 years. 28th in offense, 24th in number of plays ran. Here's the thing. When they had that audible argument this summer over we're audible and we're not, I already knew they were going to have beef. I just knew this was going to come to a head. This is reminding me of Carmelo Anthony. Remember Carmelo Anthony let me talk. Carmelo Anthony got scrutinized because he was going out there saying,
You just compared Aaron Rodgers to Melo?
Yeah, I can do that.
Both Hall of Fame.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm about to say, damn. Carmelo ain't top 50. Carmelo went out there and had a mindset that I'm going to give you 30 points. I'm giving you buckets in service to a win. Without my 30, I don't think we're going to win. So I'm going to get mine and we're going to win. I think Aaron Rodgers is thinking the same thing. He's like, look, if you run through me, we're going to win. I have won a Super Bowl, Matt LaFleur, you haven't, but it's going to be in service to winning. I don't think that they contradict.
You take the first 3 weeks of the season. You played a defense in Chicago that's one of the all-time defenses, and you played a defense in Minnesota that's got guys that have been together for 7 years that all have 6 and 8 years to get, like, all on their second contract. You played 2 elite-level defenses. So let's
don't
pump
buy
the brakes on that.
out.
You know? I don't either.
It could end up. It could go down that road.
You phase out Kerry Washington when you have something better lined up.
Dang.
How about freedom? Sometimes you phase them out because you're like, you know what? I just want the freedom.
I
These
got
numbers
something
are
better lined up before I'm phasing out an all time.
Yeah, it's called my defense. I'm dating this defense right now. I'm in love with this defense. I'm in with you, Aaron.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.